Every time Yaa-Nun makes a prediction it comes true. What's really sad is that people are so under the spell that when they hear words like prophecy, they think of a prophet. What about the word prediction? Why is there no predicator or forecaster? If you make prophecies or predictions, you must think you are a prophet. This was intentionally done by Muslims so that no one would ever claim any sort of divinity or higher knowledge than their own Prophet Muhammad, 570 to 632 AD, who was born and died in Arabia. Well, meteorologists make weather predictions of which they call forecasts, others make earthquake forecasts, and nobody says anything when theirs don't happen. Nobody says oh they think they are prophets. Yaa-Nun has taught us about the coming of the New World Order as far back as 1970 AD, and this prophecy is being fulfilled. It is now in effect. He has revealed the secrets of the scriptures years ago, and now the media is just catching up. He has even told you what to expect in the near future right up to the year 2000 AD, on to the year 2003 AD, and 2030 AD. The poles shifting, the coming of the sun cycle, the possibility of a star holocaust, how Mother Nature is fighting back and how human beings are like a leech on Mother Nature's back and she is trying to shake humans off, not to mention that he predicted California would eventually break off and fall into the ocean. This list can go on and on. Yes, all of the prophecies are unraveling right up to the much talked about extraterrestrials and spacecrafts. Make note that these events took place and started popping up in the media after he revealed them. Every time he teaches us something new you call him crazy or ask where does he get his information. After you hear it from the powers that be, who recognize who he is, read his information, and then educate their own, do you turn around and recognize who Yaa-Nun Melchizedek is to us, Amanubi Ruakta, as Pharaoh of this day and time? No, you just wait for the next opportunity to dispute him. Well, you are running out of time. Now his predictions are coming closer and closer, because the time of the end is not coming, it is now. There won't be time to check the devil for the truth that he has been sent to teach us, it will be too late he says. Since 1970 AD there have been those who once verbally attacked and even attempted to physically attack Yaa-Nun in the community. Now they are bowing out and humbling themselves to him, for they know they cannot withstand the knowledge and information that he brings, although some people are still missing the point. Can't you see he has come to help you, not hurt you? A full circle from 1967 AD as Amanubi Ruakta, all the way back, to Pharaoh Amanubi Ruakta, he has tried to teach us things we are not ready for. Whenever he is on a certain path and relaying information to open the eyes of our people and anyone who has a sincere heart, these same people come out with leaflets about our teacher and organization to try to turn the hearts of the people away from right knowledge. If you take a look back in history, you will see that whenever saviors come, there are always those who try to stop them. The Holy Tablets, Behemoth, the Human Beast, Chapter 6, The Whisperer, Tablet 6 to 7, and even at this very moment when I am about to open your eyes to his, Azazel's most recent appearance, he endeavors to prevent my pen. Thus, it becomes necessary to write a 360 questions book on different groups such as 360 questions to ask an Orthodox Sunni Muslim, scroll number 100, 360 questions to ask a Christian, scroll number 102, 360 questions to ask the Hebrew Israelites, scroll number 101, and 360 questions to ask the Israeli Church, scroll number 147, so that they can understand the power of his pen. Let's not forget the hundreds of scrolls written under the right knowledge, the God series, the Christ series, UFO and extraterrestrial series, scriptural scrolls, the debates and discussion series, ceremony scrolls, holiday series, bulletins, and a host of audio and video, coloring books, language books, and the countless number of scrolls. What we don't need today, in these last days and times, is misinformation, and our teacher is here to right the wrong, and only a fool ducks when the truth is thrown at them, saying of Dr. Malachi Z. York. There is only one thing left to say of our great master teacher Yaa-Nun, and that is, his works speak for itself. He gave us our own language. Think, our own language Nuwabic. He gave us our own pilgrimage to our own holy city with rituals and all. Each thing is traceable back to our own ancestors in Egypt. He even gave us our own prayer system called Nuwabian Tafel, a complete system of prayer. He gave us back our true roots as Moors from this land USA and Africa, and how we are all the true owners of these lands. He has truly freed us of the spell of ignorance of self and kind. He told and showed us where all of the other races come from. What else can I say? What if you lived in a house with many friends, all of which are self-righteous, who say that their God is with them and guides them, and that they are something special? Yet, one of your friends doesn't claim to be special, however others in the house all do. The one that doesn't claim to be special tells you let's prepare, the winter is coming. Let's check the cracks and check the heating system and everybody get blankets and prepare. Meanwhile, all the others ramble on about how great they are. Yet, when the winter comes, you and that special friend are prepared, while all others are freezing. Would you trust that person? This person did the same event repeatedly, and you were always forewarned and thus prepared for whatever was to come. Would you begin to listen to that person? If that person told you what was healthy and what was not healthy, when it's best to eat and when not, and you saw that your health was perfect and you didn't even age as fast as others, would you be grateful to that person? If that person told you your family is fine, in fact, contrary to what you believe, they are ready to come and be a part of you and your beliefs and you doubt, and it comes to pass, would you love that person for this? Then finally, if that person tells you stay close to me because I know the way in this dark world, would you do that? If the answer is yes, then you are a sincere follower of the Lamb as your personal Savior. He lives right now with us, our own God in the flesh. So let me tell you the many reasons why we follow this great man and see him as a God incarnated in the flesh for us. Nibiru is the mother craft that releases smaller crafts called Shams. This craft is being navigated by the Anunnaki Elohim, called Riskians, who are coming to pick up their children. Nibiru makes a trip into the Earth's atmosphere from the Orion, Keshel, skies through the Sirius star system, Ceres, every 3,600 years called Ashar. We are now living in that day and time. The Ancient Ones are coming for us, and the Archangel Melchizedek was sent forth to incarnate to prepare us for this great and dreadful day of Yahuwah, Malachi 4:5, the rapture. This planet ship called Nibiru is 3 to 4 times the size of the planet Earth, making it too large to move too close to this planet. If Nibiru, also called the Crystal City or Mothership, was to move into this atmosphere, it would cause a major disturbance in the Earth, causing volcanoes to erupt, floods, etc., because of its magnetic pull. Nibiru has been called many different names by people who don't know what it is. In recent times it has been called Rilo 7, Procyon, Planet X, and the Mother Plane. It is now being called the Companion. Different cultures speak of a craft that is coming, such as the Dogons of Mali, Africa. To the Greeks it was known as Typhon, the Mayans called it Quetzalcoatl, the Phoenicians referred to it as the Great Phoenix, the Chinese referred to it as the Great Red Sea, and the Egyptians referred to it as Ophif, Apep, or Seth. The Nation of Islam call it the Mother Plane. The Christians call it the Holy City, the New Jerusalem that is coming down from God out of heaven. To the Sumerians it was called Nibiru. The Sumerians were the group of people that the Anunnaki taught when they crashed down to the planet Earth, off the shores of what is now called the Persian Gulf. This is just further confirmation for those who didn't have faith that Nibiru is real, and yet another one of his prophecies come to light. For all who said it sounds ridiculous, the Anunnaki are making all of this a reality for you. Needless to say, he told you that this was already going to happen. When I would say that the year 2000 would be the end of the world as we know it, I was referring to the planetary alignment that took place on May 5, 2000 AD, when the 7 planets aligned counting from Venus to Neptune. There was a possibility the planets would be drawn into the sun, causing a star holocaust, and end life on Earth as we know it. People were worrying about the actual day 5/5/2000 AD, however, it is the years that preceded the year 2000 AD that you had to worry about, because of all the catastrophes that happened. In the year 1970 AD, we started coming into the sun cycle. You called it the New Age or Aquarian Age. However, it will be in the 4th cycle when all of this happens, which will complete the cycle for this 24,000 year equinox, one half of the 49,000 or 50,000 year jubilee or epoch. The Earth goes through a 24,000 year cycle that is broken up into 4 cycles of 6,000 years each. There are 2 moon cycles and 2 sun cycles. We are coming into the last sun cycle, or the last 6,000 years of this 24,000 year cycle called an equinox. This sun cycle began in the year 2000 AD and marks the end of the evil one's rule. It doesn't matter what date you start from, his rule ends when the new sun cycle begins. There were cycles that existed before the one you are going through now. There are also talks of there being other planets in the universe as well as other galaxies other than the Milky Way. He introduced you to the 8th planet Rizq, which is in the 19th galaxy called Ilion, which is where he comes from. You can take it or leave it. However, everything that he has told you has come true and his works speak for themselves. This is why he is the man of the hour. Prior to now, for the end is not coming, the end is now, the end of the moon cycle and the beginning of the sun cycle. The prophecies that he informed you of were prophecies that came to pass over a period of time. However, now these prophecies are coming to pass soon after he presents them to you. Just recently on the news, they announced that Saturn is a ball of gas and that Titan is actually the planet. This is just further confirmation from the mission Earth Scroll 81, where he had already said this. Furthermore, when he told us that one day people will be living on Mars and it won't be us, people said he was crazy. when he said the purpose of the shuttle was to shuttle or transport people back and forth in space, or otherwise you wouldn't need one.
That's nice.
Yaa-Nun told us that people would be living on other planets, and it is just a matter of time before the purpose for all of these trips to the moon and explorations come out. Well, here we are now, and news articles are popping up about Earthlings will soon inhabit the planet Mars. He told us in the book Man from Planet Rizq, Scroll 80, and many other scrolls that human life was transported to Earth from other planets and that there were intelligent beings responsible for all of this. No one trusted him. He documented this information inside of our own scripture called the Holy Tablets, chapter 1. Now they are revealing to the public that there was also life on Jupiter's moon called Europa, which is where they got the name of Europe from. Read Man from Planet Rizq, Scroll 80, and Mission Earth and Extraterrestrial Involvement, Scroll 81. Since the very beginning, when he was known as Imam Isa, al-Mukhlis, or as Sayyid Isa al-Haadi al-Mahdi, the Reformer, al-Mujaddid, he taught us about extraterrestrials and crafts. The Hale-Bopp comet is just one of the many subjects that they are talking about. If you go back to the original Revelation books which date back to the 1970s, you will see where he told us about crafts coming to Earth, called Crystal Cities, the New Jerusalem, which you can find in Revelation 21:2. When he said this back in the 70s he was ridiculed, laughed at, and was called crazy. Well, all of the scientists are now bearing witness to what he has been saying years now. It is all over the media. People aren't laughing anymore. People are scared and the joke is on them, because those that are his true disciples anticipated, had faith, and knew what would happen, and he told us what to do in order to be saved. When he started telling us about reptilians, everybody thought he had been watching too much television, although his knowledge supersedes anything we will ever see on television. Reptilians have become a household word now. When he told the story of a scientist named Yaqub from a tribe called Dunakil, whose head was the size of two men, a story told to Elijah Muhammad, by a man he called God in flesh, it was an incomplete story, yet the same man who was responsible for a race of pale-skinned, blue-eyed people called Flugelrods, everyone thought he was making it up, or copying from the Nation of Islam or the 5% Nation, saying that no one had a head that big and it's an exaggeration. The Dunakils also lived in the center of the earth. Well, here is the proof. Archaeologists dug up a skull that is the size of two men. Neither the Nation of Islam nor the 5%ers could provide all the facts or proof. Yet, Yaa-Nun did in his most holy scriptures called the Holy Tablets, which gives the complete story of this event in chapter 3 entitled Karama, the Scientists. He also said that there were a race of people with cone-shaped skulls called Taros from the Jummo star constellation, that lived in the center of the earth. A Taros skull was unearthed, which means that it does exist. People say that you can't graft a Caucasian from a Nubian, however they did it with Michael Jackson. Although Michael Jackson had cosmetic surgery to change himself from being an original Moor to a Caucasian, it simply proves that it can be done. If doctors and scientists can do it now, scientists then who were more advanced could perform this same graftation. Now they are able to do it in one lifetime where it doesn't take a 600-year graftation. Read the Holy Tablets chapter 1. So for all intended purposes, Michael Jackson is Caucasian. Yaa-Nun also said that there were beings called Daros, that were exceedingly obese with noses like elephant trunks. The Hindus worship an elephant-headed deity called Ganesha, the son of Shiva and Parvati. It is not a myth to them, it's a true story. Business people and others are ready to go on difficult endeavors and pray to Ganesha to clear obstacles from their paths. What about the film Alien Autopsy? Was it a hoax or not? Let me say this, during the O.J. Simpson murder trial, all kinds of doctors and scientists, including forensic scientists who labeled themselves experts, came in from all over the country to prove either the innocence or guilt of O.J. Simpson. Which they proved him innocent mainly due to the evidence and testimony presented by the forensic scientists. Now you tell me, these experts can prove that one O.J. Simpson is innocent using their best technology and people. How could they not prove that the extraterrestrials that were in the film Alien Autopsy real or not? They clone now, they have a chip now. The conclusion that the scientists have come to is that the extraterrestrials on the film were indeed real and that they were not from the Roswell, New Mexico crash, however from another crash that happened in 1947 AD near Socorro, New Mexico. Refer to Man from Planet Rizq, Scroll 80. Another topic everyone thought was unbelievable is that the planet Earth is hollow and that there are cities and a central sun that exists inside the planet Earth called the Black Sun. If the planet Earth was solid it would weigh much, much more. He revealed this information to you when he first began to teach in 1967 AD, introducing you to the inner cities of Shambhala and Agartha. Yaa-Nun drew pictures and diagrams and told you how the subterranean cities came into existence, with secret pathways from many cities such as Egypt, South America, Tibet, and others. He also told you about different beings that live in caverns inside of the earth. There were doubts, because it was such far-fetched information at the time. Yet, his disciples had faith and are bearing witness to his teachings until this very day. He told you that he himself is an extraterrestrial and that many beings speak through him, 19 to be exact. He also added 3 more prophets, Noble Drew Ali, Messenger Elijah Muhammad and Clarence 37X. They have all spoken to him and asked him to straighten out the mess. That's why the books are out, Sheikh Daoud vs. W.D. Farr, Scroll 165, Postgraduate, The Renewal of the Lessons, Scroll 166, The Holy Quran Circle 7, Scroll 178, The Problem Book, Scroll 186. He informed you about beings that live on other planets who were humanoid in appearance and others would scare you if you saw them. Yaa-Nun began preparing your minds long ago, because he knew this day would come, where the entire world would be talking about extraterrestrials and life on other planets, other galaxies, and the existence of other universes. He is a mortal man. Yet, beings come to him and even speak and teach us by way of him. He is not your ordinary human being. No, he is from beyond the stars. He made sure you were informed about everything under and above the sun. Dr. Malachi Z. York said that humans are very egotistical if you think you are the only intelligent life form in this large universe, and that you are just a very minute part of the big picture. Needless to say, now that Dr. Courtney Brown of the Emory University and author of Cosmic Voyage is talking about the existence of humanoid Martians, all of a sudden it becomes believable. And there are many, many others such as Richard Hoagland who are talking now. Yet none of them are talking to you. You are not a part of the agenda. You need to ask yourselves, why is that so? When it is coming from one of our own, a new Wabian who was raised up amongst us, we don't have faith in him. Yet, a person who has never done anything for you and has deceived you all of your life, you believe him. This is exactly what they tell you to do. Just be naive, believe, be patient and everything will be okay. What is so ironic is that everything that Yaa-Nun has written and put out over the past 30 years, people are now just catching up with it and using his words, yet not giving credit where credit is most certainly due. They may have the history, however, they don't have the entire story, our story. This same Dr. Courtney Brown, that was mentioned earlier, was in an interview dated June 19, 1996 AD on the Art Bell Show, as a radio talk show host. Dr. Brown gives an account about how the life on the planet Mars was destroyed and how there is and once was life there. The following is Dr. Brown's words verbatim from his interview when asked by a Mr. Art Bell. All right, back now to Professor Brown. Professor, what killed their planet? Dr. Brown stated, Mars? That's a fascinating story. It was not an environmental problem like what we're doing with our planet, or basically what happened to the Greys in their own homeworld. We visited there as well. What happened there was an outside celestial body that passed by. Apparently it got very close, it dipped right into the atmosphere, and caused an atmospheric disruption that caused climatic changes. It apparently didn't impact on the planet, it apparently passed by, but whipped right through the planet. Mars didn't have a sufficiently large, sufficiently high gravity to dampen down those disruptions, and the atmosphere started to vibrate, and when it got a little higher off the planet, it started to experience a situation where much of it was carried by some of the solar winds, and then the climate started to change very rapidly, over a matter of a few months, and the place became very destroyed, very upsetting, and a rescue team had to be sent basically in. It was a disaster, it was an interplanetary problem that occurred, it was not something due to the Martians themselves. If you have ever read Scroll 80, Man from Planet Risk book, you know where he got it from. If you have read the Holy Tablets, Scroll 172, Chapter 1, Tablets 4 and 5, you know where he got it from. If you have read Scroll 81, Mission Earth and the Extraterrestrial Involvement, all authored by Yaa-Nun, you know where he got it from. Dr. Brown just changed a few of the names, however, the story is still the same. It is the story of Nibiru veering off and bumping into Maldek. You can call it a coincidence if you like, however, you know if you are true to yourself that he already taught you this. There is no such thing as a coincidence after the second incidence. And just so that you'll know, the American Heritage Dictionary defines coincidence as coincidence, 1, the state or fact of occupying the same relative position or area in space. 2, a sequence of events that although accidental seems to have been planned or arranged. It is no coincidence that for the longest time he has been talking about Nibiru creating a tetrahedron of energy at a 19.5-degree angle around the remaining half of the planet Earth, when it was hit by the north wind. Refer to Man from the Planet Risk, Scroll 80 and What and Where is Hell? Scroll 146.